Hey guys, did you know that I have a Patreon where you can support me and plus get awesome rewards? Or if you're thinking to yourself, but Julian, I want even more bang for my buck while still supporting you, you can pop over to my Redbubble and check out my awesome store with new designs appearing regularly. But for now, enjoy the video you're about to watch. Hey everyone, this is just your friendly heads up warning that we're about to go into a critical reading of Jenna Moressi's The Savior's Champion, which will include every possible spoiler. So if you don't want spoilers and you don't have a sense of humor about Jenna's writing, then this video probably isn't for you. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome back. I spent my day yesterday LARPing. What did you do with your day? And we're back to read some more of Savior's Champion. That's the name of this book. So let's just get right down to it. Chapter 12 is called The Reward, where I'm sure that old Toby gets to go visit the Savior and be super judgy of her, even though he literally knows nothing about her or her life or her challenges. Let's find out, shall we? Okay, Tobias says he is nauseated by being in the presence of Cosima. Twice now. Nauseated. He doesn't even know this woman, and her very presence makes him sick. Really, Tobias? Really? Like, you can like one woman and find another one attractive. You can like one woman and enjoy another woman's company. Like, just because he's into Layla doesn't mean that he has to loathe every second he's with Cosima. He doesn't know this woman at all, and he's not giving her any benefit of a doubt. Now, I'm sure she's going to turn out to be a terrible person, but like, let's be real, we don't have much proof of that so far. And Tobias is being a big old dick, just sitting here being Mr. Judgy Pants over a woman he does not even know. Uncomfortable, okay, I can understand. Nauseated and bored. You're being a dick right now, Tobias. Okay, and of course now Cosima is coming on to him, and we're supposed to be disgusted as well. But look at it from her point of view. She thinks that he just basically read her, or spoke to her, this beautiful poem about his feelings, and now they have to go on a date together. And she might just be like a creepy rapist lady, or she might believe that this is what she has to do. She might believe that this is her role. He read me a poem, so now I'm supposed to come on to him. That's just how this works. Tobias is giving no benefit of the doubt for this woman at all. Hey, it's Julian from the future real quick. For those of you who are following this and have not read the book, this might be a little bit confusing. I talked about a poem that Tobias read, and you're like, what poem? When he failed to paint the pictures, he just made up a poem on the spot, which of course was also about Layla, but he spoke it to Cosima, and she was charmed. So that's where the poem came from. I keep skipping stuff that doesn't seem important, and then I bring it up later. Sorry about that. And now Tobias's meetup with the Savior is over. And she didn't force him to have sex. She backed off politely when asked, so that's good. And she seems like a perfectly reasonable human being who maybe was raised in a very strict, certain way and had a lot of expectations placed on her. We don't really still get much from her. It's like we're intentionally not supposed to find out if she's a human being or not, because Tobias does spend a lot more time with her having conversation, apparently, but we don't get to hear it. We just skip that. So knowing who she is and what kind of person she is apparently not important to the story, which, I don't know, I feel like maybe it should be a little bit more important. Of course, and now Layla is salty because Tobias got to go see Cosima, and of course she's all jelly now, and acting like it's totally Tobias's fault, even though he's in no control of any of this. And I think it's because Layla's supposed to be this insecure girl. She don't know she's beautiful. That whole thing. We gotta have some kind of conflict in the romance. It might as well be a predictable one. Okay, this is a weird scene. So Layla is over treating some other people's injuries, and some of the guys are, of course, being total pigs, as you do, and, like, grabbing her butt and, you know, putting their head over her shoulder and probably grabbing her boobs, and just generally being horrible people. And Tobias is like, I should save her. And then he's like, she told me to leave her alone, which is like two fucking romance tropes in the same fucking place, because there's the must save a girl from being assaulted by other bad men, and also the she told me to leave her alone misunderstanding, where I don't think she meant leave me alone when I'm being attacked. It's like two tropes for the price of one here, and they're contradicting each other, which is interesting, and I'm curious to see which will win. This is interesting. So Tobias never solves either of his problems, really. He doesn't come to her rescue, and he does continue to have the misunderstanding about what she meant by leave me alone. And instead, Layla just murdered a man. So, that sure is a thing. She just shoved him into, like, a bottomless pit because he grabbed her boob. Now, granted, we would all probably be cheering in this moment if a girl was being sexually harassed and she shoved a man down a bottomless pit. But at the same time, it's an odd plot point, and it made me wonder a lot of things about this world. Apparently, it is okay for a woman to defend herself by shoving a man down a bottomless pit. You know, that's good. But it's not okay for her to ask for a guard or two to help her out so that the men would stop grabbing her boobs. She's basically left alone to be molested until she gets so molested that she will murder. And I feel like a lot of that could be prevented if A, they didn't pick complete and total assholes for these games, and B, if you must have gropey assholes in your game, assign some guards to the women who have to go be around these gropey assholes so that she doesn't have to get groped at all and no one has to be pushed down a bottomless pit. Like, there's two bad things that happened here and neither of them had to happen. This world confuses me a little bit. A lot. It confuses me a lot. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe it's not supposed to be logical. Maybe that's the point. We are on to chapter 13, which is called The Game, which happens to be the name of a book that I am working on writing right now. That also has a death match in it, so that's cool, but otherwise very little in common with this. And I will leave you all here, because I have shit to do today, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back with more of Jenna Moressi's The Savior's Champion. It's been like 2 weeks since I read this fucking thing, but Jane is here looking fucking comfortable. And I have been playing Persona 5, and honestly, I am enjoying that story way more than this one. But I might try to get through 2 chapters today, beginning with chapter 13, The Game, which by the way is the working title of a book that I, as of filming, have in the beta process. So, Chapter 13, The Game. What a pointless sentence. It starts out with a really fucking pointless sentence that could completely be eliminated and nothing would happen. Enzo stared long and hard at his cards before making a move, or at least Tobias assumed so, as he wasn't paying attention. That's weak. That's weak, guys. By the way, guys, I'm wearing strawberry harem pants. They just have strawberries on them, and they're so fucking comfortable, you can't even understand. They're very comfortable. One thing I have noticed is that nobody seems to ever bathe. They just get oiled up. Like, is it ever mentioned, did I miss it, where they bathe after any of these competitions, or are they just the most disgusting, sweaty, blood-encrusted dudes covered in oil running around in a cave? That could be. That could be. Wow. Tobias, you are a shithead. There's still a giant death pit, like, in the middle of their camp, where Layla pushed a man to his death, and Tobias wasn't concerned about Neil's death. To him, that pit was a reminder of Layla walking away without so much as a glance in his direction. So Tobias, who's supposedly a very good man who doesn't want people to die, just watched a man die, and he's like, does my girlfriend still like me? Tobias, my bro, sort out your priorities. There's a death pit in the middle of your camp, but yeah, let's be worried about your girlfriend. And now they're peeing together. Wow, I have not even gotten through this page, and I hate everything. Now we're watching Tobias pee. Why? Did this book annoy me so much up until this point, or is like this is the turning point where everything that is written is just making me so upset for no reason? Apparently, also, they just pee up against a wall. Is there a trough? Does the pee get taken away, or is this just a wall and floor that is covered in crusty piss? This place is getting more charming by the second. Oh, you guys, I forgot to tell you my theory. I'm just doing anything I can to interrupt this terrible chapter. So I have heard through the grapevine, although I haven't been spoiled as to what it is, that this book has a twist at the end. I don't know if it has like a twist ending or just a twist that comes at the end. I heard there is a twist. Now, this book was doing a pretty good job of convincing me that it was just going to be a straightforward book that didn't have any twists. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it was doing a pretty good job. And now that I know there's a twist, let's see if I can guess what it is. And I have not looked up any of what the twist might be and not spoiled myself for that. So my guess is that Layla is the savior. And she is giving her power over to Cosima so that Cosima can seem extra sexy and glowy and pretty and everything like that. And I think a hint that we might be given is that we never see Layla in the sun, because I believe the savior glows in the sunlight, and Cosima is never in the sun. Also, Cosima has like super, super pale skin, and yeah, that's my theory. I'm gonna be very, very surprised if Cosima is not the savior. Hey guys, since I know that some of you listen to this and don't actually watch it, I fucked up. Just assume that every time I said Cosima just now, I meant Layla. Okay, thanks, bye. I'm still waiting to find out what was up with the beginning of this book. This book has a prologue, and some of you may know how I feel about prologues. And like, so far, I feel like you could chop off that prologue and it would not have any effect on the story. We'll see if that has anything to do with the ending. Otherwise, good rule of thumb, if you could chop your prologue off the story and it wouldn't really change anything, you don't need a prologue. So you guys, it's no secret if you've been watching this that I have been unimpressed with the challenges, and now this one is just the memory match game that they have been playing together. Kinshu is here. That they have been playing together in their camp. It's memory match. A children's game. Now, I'm sure that there will be dangerous things happening to you if you fuck up, but still. So if they fuck up, a mallet comes down and hits them. Like this is a cartoon. They're playing a children's game, and if they fail, a mallet literally comes down and hits them. Sure. Oh, this is fine. This isn't stupid at all. So Tobias needs to lose this card matching game, because the people who win get to go spend the day with the savior, and the person who loses gets to go back to the sanctuary, well, where, of course, Layla will visit him. And this is super easy to do. All he has to do is get one thing wrong, and he's the ultimate loser, which seems really fast and convenient, and wouldn't they have to keep playing and eventually, like, figure out who was the ultimate loser overall? It's just, no, he was the first one to guess it wrong, so he's the ultimate loser. It's very clear that Jenna did not give this challenge much thought. It was just a means to an end to getting Tobias back for a romantic scene with Layla. I can see the threads in this book, and I'm not loving it. Like, sometimes, you know, you can see the author's intentions and moves, and you feel like, yay, I'm liking this, I can see what they're trying to do. And sometimes you're just like, I can see where they cut corners, I can see where they were lazy. And that's what this moment feels like to me. By the way, if I look out the window, there's a window there, and there are adorable birds on my bird feeder, so I'm kind of, half the time I'm kind of talking to the adorable birds, and can you blame me? Oh, here's a little hint from my theory. Tobias is finally telling Layla about his time with the savior, because Layla had assumed they had sex, because Layla is a jealous person like that. And so Tobias is like, oh, she called me artist the whole time, and Layla's like, oh, I know how that feels. Almost as though her sisters would be calling her the savior the whole time? Okay. Oh, she didn't even think they had sex. She just thought they kissed. Wow, Layla. Settle the fuck down. So they're supposed to be sharing like cute stories of their first kiss, and Toby's first kiss was sexual assault, so, you know, there's that. But let's play that off as cute, as an older girl pinned him to the wall and forced her tongue down his throat. No, that's a cute, endearing story. What I don't understand, because Tobias is like, well, I'm probably going to die here because I either die or I win and marry the savior. And like, I feel like that wasn't my understanding of this competition when I started this book. Like, sure, there would be people who died in this competition, but not everyone would, and you could get out of this alive and still not marry the savior. And I guess I don't understand why everyone else needs to die and then one person married the savior. Like, can't some of them just leave? Okay, with the hints that they're throwing out in this chapter, Layla is 100% the real savior. There is a little bit of consent before kiss, which I do like to see in a story. Tobias, basically asks if he can kiss her, and she seems down. She doesn't explicitly say yes, but I think it is pretty clear that she's saying yes. It would be nicer if she explicitly said yes, but consent before kiss, at least your first kiss, is a good idea. And it can be very sexy and very sweet, so don't just be like, ew, I'll be such a nerd if I ask for consent before our first kiss. No, man, do it. It's hot. So that's the end of chapter 13, and then I'll be on to chapter 14 right away. I still have an hour and 23 minutes left on my camera. I spent about 30 minutes reading that chapter, and it felt like longer because I did not enjoy that chapter at all. Like I said, I could see the seams in Jenna's work, and I'm just, like, so bored of the romance. Like, I'm not a romance person to begin with, so that's kind of my fault. If you are into romance, you might not be as bored with it. But yeah, so that was a pretty torturous chapter for me to read. I'm pretty damn certain that Layla is the savior, which again, a lot of things in this don't make any sense, because if she is the savior, like, and she's put in there to actually find her true love or whatever, what if she finds somebody she likes and then he, like, dies immediately? What if somebody else kicks them down the bottomless pit that's in the fucking middle of their camp? What then? Like I said, I will be very surprised at this point if she is not the savior. But we will see it. Maybe there is a totally different twist waiting for me at the end. But let's get on to chapter 14, which is titled The Keys. So today's challenge, they're on to a new challenge right away, is a collection game where they have to climb down a cliff and then gather up a bunch of keys that are apparently scattered around at the bottom. Because they're the keys to the Savior's heart. I really feel like Jenna ran out of ideas for challenges several challenges ago. Like, before the pig one, she's out of ideas. The pig one was the sign. So, okay, at the bottom of the ravine is water, which I didn't understand to be deep water until somebody dove in and they just, you know, kept swimming. And so they basically have to dive, like kids diving in a swimming pool for those little diving toys that you throw in for the keys. But there's an eel in the water, and the second they said that, all I could think was,
Do you know what that sound is, Highness? Those are the shrieking eels.
And I will never unthink that now. So you're welcome for putting that in your brain. Tobias is like describing them. He says, monsters, eels or something, but with teeth. Some eels have teeth normally. But okay. So Tobias has a glowing handprint on his chest when he's swimming down, and so the eels don't try to eat him. Because he's been blessed by the Savior again. And he's like, oh, Cosima touched me on the chest when I visited her, so that must have been my blessing. Yeah, except for the part where he was also touched on the chest by Layla, even more recently than that. So I think my theory is just gaining more and more traction. Somebody else has died. Somebody we don't care about. I immediately in my head I was like, and another one gone, and another one gone, and another one bites the dust. Okay, maybe he's not quite gone, because Tobias has decided. Tobias who randomly, like, tries to kill people, has also decided to randomly try to save people. So he is now trying to save Rando guy, who we don't care about. Tobias is trying to throw this competition as well, and this time I'm not really sure why. I guess he just doesn't want to win anymore? But then he dies, so I'm confused. I'm confused a lot with this book. Wow. 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 Tobias has the worst taste anyone I have read in a long time. So, the guy that Tobias tried to save is, like, bleeding to death, but the competition is over, and so Layla drags bleeding to death guy into a tent to be taken care of. And Tobias, like, sneaks in behind her, and he has several keys in his pockets because he wanted to lose the competition, so he hid the keys in his pockets. Because apparently whatever he's wearing has pockets. And then, while Layla is trying to save a man who is bleeding to death, he puts the keys in her healing pouch and writes a little note to her that says his feelings haven't changed. Tobias is thinking with his dick while a man is bleeding to death. A man that previously Tobias cared about because he saved his ass. What is wrong with Tobias? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? It's like, if Tobias can do something to forward his romance, nothing else in his life matters. There's no such thing as bad timing or bad taste. Tobias is just like, oh, what, you're dying? Never mind, I'm gonna leave a cute note for my girlfriend. Tobias, you are an ass, and I will not change my opinion on this. So, those were those two chapters, and now I'm gonna go back to playing video games, because I'm having way more fun doing that. I hope that some of you are still enjoying this. Probably it's a series by now, and eventually I will make it through this book. I am over halfway by just a little bit, so this is real. Wish me luck. Hey guys, it's me again. I know it's dark, and I know I look like this, but I have a giant bag of peanut M&Ms. I have Jane, and I have Jenna Moressi's book, The Savior's Champion. Because we're just gonna keep going. Let's go my M&Ms, Jane. We're just gonna keep fucking going. I don't have time for this, but I'm gonna do it. But we're just gonna get right to chapter 15. Chapter 15 of this book is called The Dog. So we had pigs. I really, really hope that there is a dog happening. Please tell me that there's a dog and that it doesn't die. We'll find out. One thing I noticed, you remember at the beginning of this book, Tobias had a friend who was kind of obnoxious. Then that friend died horribly to make Tobias a sad, sad panda. And then he got a new friend, who I did predict was going to die, and he hasn't died yet. I'm pretty sure he's going to be dead by the end. But he got a new friend in the form of, Flynn. And I realized they're the same person. Flynn has the exact fucking same personality as the previous friend. Could have kept the first friend. This bit is kind of just romantic fluff, so I don't have much to say. They're being real romancy. So I guess this chapter is called The Dog because one of the contestants is called The Dog, I think. That's like his laurel. And so Tobias and Layla were getting all makey-outy. Nigel is here and he's completely got rid of my light. Tobias and Layla were getting all makey-outy, and then of course somebody comes walking in, and it's that guy. And I believe, I have trouble keeping track of these characters because they're not very well done. I believe that it was one of the guys who was engaging in a blowjob the other day, which Tobias said he would not tell anyone about. So now this guy is like, oh, you guys have your romantic moment, I'll stand guard outside. Thank goodness we had that scene. The book could not go on without the blowjob scene and the subsequent guy wanders in on Tobias scene. Thank goodness. Tobias is really mad at Flynn, and I cannot remember why. What did Flynn do in the last challenge? He just like blabbed about Tobias being blessed, I think. And Tobias is just like, fucking Flynn, I hate that guy. I don't want to ever be with him again. And I'm like, is it really worth you deciding fuck him? Because he did one thing that you didn't like? We've got a pretty cliche scene going on. Tobias and 3 other guys have been sent down a tunnel, which has a deadly obstacle waiting for them, and they can't figure out how to get around this deadly obstacle. And so the 3 guys are arguing, and they're all having this arguing fit, and Tobias, meanwhile, has come up with the solution. He's like, guys, and they're like, argue, and he's like, guys, and they're argue, guys. That scene that you've seen a million times, and you can, like, hear it in your head just having it described, that is what is happening right now. Oh, someone else is dead. It's Xander. We all cared a lot about Xander. Or we wanted him dead. I can't remember if we liked him or hated him, because I cannot keep track. Oh no, I understand what's going on now. I cannot keep track of these people. So the guy who was killed was the blowjob buddy of, Caesar? No. Enzo? Yes. Was the blowjob buddy of Enzo, who was beating up Caesar for killing Xander. I cannot keep track of these characters, you guys. Maybe I'm just bad at this. Did anyone else have an easier time? Sometimes I fully admit that if there are a lot of characters, I have trouble keeping track of them. That's a me thing. But I also feel like, who are these people, and why should I remember them? So they're all fucking murderers, including our good guys, including Tobias and Layla. Which I guess, I mean, they deserve each other if they are both willing to be complicit in the taking of a human life. So I guess if that's what they're into, that's what they're into. We have reached the end of that chapter, and I'm going to have to stop and make some space on my camera. But then I'm probably just going to keep reading tonight the next chapter, because I want to get through this damn book sometime before I'm dead. Hey everybody, it is shout out time. Time to shout out to my amazing patrons, Amanda, Kim, Lisa, Ramona, Sabby Panda, and Sarah. And if you want to be great like these awesome people, then become my patron over on Patreon.